Hey folks, thanks for tuning into this video. I want to start by saying this is all going to be one take. Sorry if it's a little loud. I live on a bit of a busy street, but I'm not a motorcycle journalist. I'm not really a YouTuber. This could be the start of my career. Who knows? Um, and this is just a video that I kind of wish existed when I was shopping for one, both of these bikes, and maybe you feel the same way. So just going to be one take. I'm not going to do anything crazy here. Just going to talk about these bikes side by side and go through them a little bit more in depth with you as best I can. So if you're like me, you may be between the Triumph Bonneville T100 and the Kawasaki W800. As you can see, they're both beautiful bikes here side by side. Now, there's tons of video, tons of content on the Triumph Bonneville. Obviously, it's just a timeless classic. YouTuber galore. There's videos on the T100. This is what this bike is here. Also the T120. Very similar, obviously, just power differences. There's a weight difference as well too. And then the W800. There's not as much content on this bike. I don't want to say use the word rare, but it is a little bit more rare. There is one video on YouTube done by a guy named Marlon. It's honestly one of the best videos of any video I've ever watched on YouTube. It's just absolutely hysterical. The guy is just a master at witty humor and editing the video. It's just hysterical. So if you're into the W800 and this one's on your list, definitely watch that video by Marlon. It's got over 500,000 views. Like nothing comes close to what that guy has done. Yes, I do have funny family plates for you. So between these two bikes, a couple things. One, Triumph. It's a Triumph. I mean, it literally says Triumph everywhere. It says it there. It says it there. It says it on the back of the seat. This is a seat cover. Shout out Susie at Cheeky Seats. She put this seat together for me. It's awesome. It says Triumph everywhere. Whereas the W800 does not. The only place that it did say Kawasaki was on the back of the seat. You can see that's gone because this is the only upgrade or thing that I've done to this bike is raise the mirrors a little bit, and then I got a seat from a Mega Racer with matching stitching with the red, and then obviously I removed the Kawasaki logo. Now, anytime you go out on this bike, you are going to get attention. People want to know what it is. They want to know what year it's from. They have questions, and then they're like, "Wait, what? It's a Kawasaki? Where does it say that?" It doesn't say Kawasaki anywhere, which is kind of crazy. The only place, again, that it does say Kawasaki, if you kept that stock seat on, was right here on the back of the seat. So that was the only place that the bike said Kawasaki. Again, this bike is just a head turner. Everybody has questions on it. They want to know what it is, when it's from, how many miles on it, all the standard, bike guy questions. I live here in Florida, and I do cafe race often. No, but really, I go to coffee shops pretty frequently, and I don't do any long rides with either of these bikes yet. But with this bike, it just gets attention because people don't see it very often. I have never seen another one. I know there is one other one in the area, one of the Facebook groups that I'm in. There's a guy who's mentioned he's not far from me. I've never seen it though on the road. So in terms of road rarity factor, you're not going to see the W800 too often, which is cool. It has that going for it. Whereas the Bonneville, everybody knows it. I shouldn't say everybody, but it's a Triumph. It has that heritage factor. It has the coolness factor. It's Triumph. It's just, I'm a big Steve McQueen fan, and this is ultimately what I eventually want to end up with. I actually got the W800 first between these two bikes. And, now here I am with the Triumph as well, too. Now, what I will say between these two bikes, in terms of feel, the W800 is definitely slower. It's not as torquey as the Triumph, but it's just really a pleasant ride. It's not nearly as loud as well, too. Now, the Triumph, you can see I got straight pipes on it. I added the British custom /cut exhaust tips. It's loud. It's loud. It's proud. You hear it from, wherever you are, you're going to hear this bike. And I love that rumble that it has. In terms of ride feel, I will say I feel a little bit more upright on the Triumph versus the W800. Seat height is almost the same, but I just feel slightly more upright. maybe it's the bars. I don't have, again, any exact measurements and whatnot between these two, but I just feel a little bit more upright between these two bikes on the Triumph. I will say, forgive me if this sounds a little cheesy, I feel prouder riding the Triumph. I don't know if it's that heritage factor that you have between these two bikes. This is like one of those bikes that I just kind of had in my head growing up that if I was to ride a motorcycle one day, it's going to be a Bonneville. My dad always wanted a 61 Bonneville, 61 Pontiac Bonneville, and here I am with a Triumph Bonneville. But between these two, I don't know how to describe it. I'm just a little more prouder to ride this one. Again, this is a one-take video. I'm just rambling. Between these two bikes, though, I can't say which one I like better, but if I had to pick which one to ride on a longer ride, it would probably be the Bonneville. Now, in terms of the W800, again, it's just got more of a comfort, leisurely, hop around town feel. It's a really pleasant bike to ride. It has a really nice gurgle and burble to the engine. It's really great. Whereas the Triumph, it's just louder, it's prouder, it's faster, torqueier, all the above. So again, between these two bikes, I don't necessarily have a favorite. But what I will say is, I wanted a Bonneville, but I didn't want to pay Bonneville prices. So I was waiting for the right used one. And then a used W800 showed up in my area, and I bought that. And I'm very pleased with it. It was a 2020 with 500 miles on it, and I got a great deal on it. And of course, 3 months later, a used Bonneville showed up near me. I had to buy that as well, too. And I'm really grateful to have both of these bikes, and I probably won't keep them both. Maybe your opinion will sway me one direction over the other. But what I can say is if you're between these two bikes, go ride one. A lot of the dealerships, at least for Kawasaki, they'll say, oh, you can't ride it. Like, you have to buy the bike and then you can ride it. That's not really a test ride. Talk to them, see what you can do. If you're really committed to buying one, and they do have one, which, again, these are kind of hard to find, ride it before you make the commitment to buy it. Triumph, I think most of their dealerships are a little bit more flexible and will give you test rides and whatnot. But going back to the start of my video and, talking about these two side by side, again, there really hasn't been a lot of side by side content of these two bikes. I'm a big fan of Mr. Darcy and the Old Man's videos, and, he did do a good review of this bike. I think they're very much, Royal Enfield fanboys, maybe Royal Enfield's in their pockets. I don't know. I rode some of the Royal Enfields that are comparable to these bikes, and I'm very impressed with them, especially for the money that you're spending on those bikes. It's just an insane value. I just felt for a little bit more on the used market, you get a much better bike between these two. The Royal Enfields I don't want to say they felt cheap, but parts-wise and feel and just, little things like the click of these passenger pegs. You just aren't going to get things like that on the Royal Enfield. Not a big deal, but again, just something I noticed. I probably will get a Royal Enfield down the line, just something to try out and have in the stable here and there. I do have a big garage, so I'm grateful to have the space to have these bikes. Now, I think I've rambled on enough, but I did have a little script here left in the rocks. Talk about little differences between the two, and I'll put this in the description. So the W800, it is a 773cc air-cooled parallel twin, about 50 horsepower of really polite, respectful enthusiasm. It is a 5-speed, it's a bevel-drive cam, it's mechanical jewelry, I would say. It's very analog, very simple, my sheets are 10,000 thread count kind of feel that you have when you're riding this bike. And it feels like it time traveled from 1968 and it just refuses to learn email. So that's the W800. The Bonneville is a 900cc liquid-cooled parallel twin. It's about 65 horsepower of cheerio, but, faster. It's 5-speed. It's got a ride-by-wire, traction control, and a sneaky modern brain, I would say. It's still classic-looking, but secretly, this bike has a LinkedIn profile, and it, drinks oat milk as well, too. Now, I would say the W800, it's more of a vintage, slower, charming, nostalgic bike. The T100 is definitely more power, better brakes, it's got more tech, and it's quicker everywhere, and it's just more Steve McQueen. The W800 is just more of this vintage feel. It's slower, it's charming, it's just pure nostalgia. The T100 is more power, better brakes, more tech. It's quicker everywhere. And again, more Steve McQueen. I would say the W800 is like a vinyl record, and the T100 is like Spotify. So again, I'm not doing any riding comparisons. You can watch other YouTubers that do that shit and have better cameras than I do. I'm just shooting this on an iPhone, but I will do a little startup on each one of the bikes for you here. So this is the W800. Turn that off. I just saw a video on Yami Noob, and he talked about how these switches here are actually from the early W's, original switches, which is really cool. So great Japanese craftsmanship. And of course we have the British Triumph in Thailand. Turn this one on. Oh, I need to. With me. Yeah, that's great pipes going on. Bonneville here. Hopefully you can hear that well. But that is a quick side-by-side of these two bikes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, this is something I was looking for when I was looking at these two bikes. I wish I had it. Now I have both of them, and a wife who's wondering why. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope it helped.